So you've made the choice to move abroad and now you have to tell your family. So how exactly do you go about telling your family and making sure they understand your motivations and why you're doing it? Welcome back to 7997 with your hosts, Chris and Jackie, two black immigrants, trying to live our best life in Mexico. This week it's me again. Hey y'all. We're both in the midst of traveling. She's heading towards the East Coast. I'm heading towards the West Coast, going back to the States. So that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about when we get back. But this week we're really focusing on, if you made that decision to really move abroad, whether it's Mexico or anywhere else, and you kind of have to tell your family, right? So like, how do I tell my kids if you're grown, or even if you're not grown, if your kids are still small, how you kind of get them into the mix? How do you tell mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, friends, and family, and hopefully they can support you in your endeavor to move abroad. So for us, our big, reason why, and I think that's really the thing you should start with, is your why. Like, why do you want to do this? Why is it important? For other people, it might be, I want to go and live some adventure. I want to get out of the United States, just to kind of explore the world, do your backpacking through Europe before you go to college. Maybe it's a particular culture that you're just in love with and you want to go spend some real time there. You love Japanese culture, Korean culture, Thai, what have you. You want to go get immersed in it and really live that lifestyle a little bit differently than you do now. If you're kind of getting away from a situation that you don't feel really happy in, whether it's political systems or local government or violence, like whatever it is, you might be wanting to try to get away from something as well. Or even for like education, going to school abroad, those type of things. Some folks have work opportunities where they can go to another country and work with their particular job. So there's a lot of reasons why you might want to make that move. And being able to say why and articulate that to your family is going to be a big thing to help you, get some support for what you're trying to do. So I know for us, we were really, being bogged down by the political system, by the violence that was happening in America, and we wanted to really get up and move. And we started looking at places. We found a couple places that we really fell in love with and wanted to try out, and ended up in Mexico. We definitely had family members who were supportive regardless of what was going on, who may have been, supportive in the moment until they realized that, oh, you're actually not kidding, you're actually going to do this. And then they kind of get maybe a little worried depending on where you're going. Going to Mexico, a lot of people think about, the cartels and the violence and that kind of stuff. There's violence everywhere. It's not anything you can escape. And there's not any greater violence in Mexico than it is in the United States or some other countries. There's people who kind of off the back were just like, I don't know if y'all should do that. There's people that were just, fully supportive, had our back the entire time. My mother, for example, ended up following us down here so much she had our back because she was thinking about the same thing at the same time as we were. So there's a lot of things I think you can kind of quell in people's sort of worries about what you might be doing if you can give them really a good concrete why you want to make this move and why it's important for you to do this move now. So another big part of this is really like painting the picture of all those possibilities. For us, it was about, hey, cost of living. I could actually take my job with me when I went from the U.S. to Mexico. So it wasn't so, much in limbo around money and income. So I had that going for me. Obviously, the beautiful weather down here, the environment, everyone loves Mexican food. That's a great possibility there. So being able to kind of paint that picture for people and have them understand why this is a good decision, why there's opportunity and possibility in making this move abroad. And not just, something you're trying to do on a whim, or you saw one video and now you're in love with the place and you want to just go. But really articulate that you've done some research and that you can really start speaking to the concerns that they might have. Because you probably had those same concerns when you were doing your research, when you were trying to figure out what you might want to do and where you might want to go. Those things that come up, they're like, hey, what about healthcare? What about making money? What about, can I find my medicine that I might need? Can I find a place to live easily? Is the cost of living okay? All those things that they're going to be concerned about, you already have put some research into, and you can come to them with facts and figures and share videos and share articles about the things that you've learned. Even speaking to people, who may have been to that country or that place you're trying to go to and have some really firsthand experience as well. So being able to really paint that picture for them and do some of that research ahead of time so that when they're going to kick back some questions to you, you already have answers for those questions. So I think a big deal too is that whenever you're trying to do something big in life, people are going to have their viewpoints, their feelings about it. You always want to acknowledge that for them. Like, you can acknowledge that, yes, I understand that you're afraid. I understand that you're worried. I understand you're concerned. And here's why maybe you shouldn't be. Or here are the things that I've thought about that actually can help quell some of your fears and your concerns. It may be, I think what helped us in particular was really sharing more videos and more information about what the environment was like down there. Because, we hear all kinds of stuff. We see things in television and movies about particular places. And generally when you're doing a movie or something, you want to show the most exciting part of it, which may be the most violent part of it, which may be the craziest part of it, which may be the things that, on a day-to-day basis don't really happen, but maybe once in a lifetime will happen in this place. So really trying to give people a real down-to-earth view of where you're going and what you're doing, so that they can fully understand that, you understand what they're going through, you understand their fears and their concerns, and you've already gone and done the research to figure out, how can you paint the real picture of what you're going to be going and get involved into. A big part of that is really just looking at all of the small details, the practicalities you're going to need. If you're going to another country, there's a whole lot of paperwork generally involved in doing that. There's, visa requirements, and you got your passports, and, whatever type of identification you need to have in that country. In Mexico, we have, a couple of cards, residency cards, and RFC numbers, and tax ID numbers, and all these things you kind of need to have just to kind of live a normal life and be part of society here. So it's really important that you show, your family and your friends that you've done your homework, you've looked at all the possibilities, all the small minutiae that it takes to kind of make this thing happen, and you're not just sort of out on a whim and you might, hit the border one day and like, oh, I didn't know I needed all this stuff. I just kind of came across the border and thought I was going to live. Like, you've actually thought this through. You know what's going on. So you're looking at safety concerns and healthcare and all the other practicalities of day-to-day life living in a place. I think another big thing is people are going to think that the distance is going to be too big to overcome. And I think in this day and age, it's a lot easier to stay connected than if it were, 30, 40 years ago. We can all kind of jump on a phone call very easily. You can jump on a video call, Zoom or FaceTime or what have you, and really stay really connected with people as much as you really want to. Obviously, through all the social media, a lot of us just communicate all day long through text messages or what have you. So like all that can really still go on no matter where you are on the planet. You may have to adjust with some time zones. You may be leaving more messages and more video messages, more so than talking in real time. But it's all doable. I think if you have a plan to make sure that, friends and family know that you want to stay connected and you will stay connected, and you're not necessarily going to just disappear off the face of the earth and never talk to them again and they never hear from you. Because these are the people that love you and, want to be in your life and want to be a part of your life. And it obviously gets harder to do that the further you are in distance away from them. So making sure that you have a plan in place to make sure that you're staying connected, talking with folks, and really maintaining the relationships that you have regardless of the distance between you. I think a really big one is children. If you happen to be someone who has children and you're making a move with young children who may still be school age, not every country has the same sort of equivalent school systems, right? Some are way better than others. Some are a little, not so great depending on where you go. So making sure that you do your due diligence and your research so that, grandma and grandpa aren't concerned about their grandchildren going somewhere and, being in a dirt school and not having a dirt floor school, I should say, not a dirt school. Being at a dirt floored school and maybe not getting the same level of education they would someplace else. Or even conversely, like the children don't know the language. Like you might be someplace where language barriers are concerned. But there's plenty of, international schools all over the world, a lot of English speaking schools, no matter what country you're in. Obviously there's usually a cost associated with those schools. So again, doing your research is a big thing, and sharing your research with others to let them know that you are taking everyone into account. Whether it be children or maybe even your fur babies, what does it take to get your dog or your cat to go with you if that's something that's important to you. So all these details are really key to help make people really feel comfortable with what you're doing and that you've really done your research and you're considering everyone in your family that may actually be making the move with you. That also includes, maybe older parents. So like if you have an older parent maybe that's living with you, have you taken them into consideration of maybe having them come down with you? Or if not, maybe you make some arrangements to put them into a home or something like that, or some other environment where they can be taken care of. Just making sure that you're really focusing on every individual within your household that's going to be moving with you, and making sure that they all feel like they're taken care of and being supported in the ways that they need to be. I think if all else fails and everyone is still concerned and still not ready to kind of get on board with you and support your decision, if it's possible, consider a visit. Consider taking mom and dad, or maybe even the kids, down to your new place where you're trying to move to. Like if you want to go down to Mexico for a vacation for a week, or we go to Japan for a week, just to kind of let them actually see this place in action and understand that, everything is okay. It's not crazy. It's not all the things they thought it was, hopefully. Or maybe it is all the things they thought it was, and they get there and they still don't really feel on board. But I think at that point you feel like you've done your due diligence, you've done as much as you can to really help make your case and make sure they all feel comfortable and on board with what you're trying to do. So I think, if you put all these things together, just making sure you're taking care of all the practicalities, doing your research, anticipating their needs and their questions, making sure you're staying connected, and if all else fails, just like pick them up and take them with you and say, hey, let's go look at this place together, so you fully understand what I'm trying to talk about, what I'm really invested in, and what I feel good about trying to go and participate in. So if you can do all those things, I think it'll be really successful for you to really help tell your family and get them on board with these changes in your life that you're trying to do. Right now the world just gets smaller and smaller every day with the internet and all the things that we can see and experience. And there's not a whole lot of mystery left out there about, some of these locations in the world that you could move to. So I think, there's tons of information out there that you can share and get people on board, and hopefully make all of this a successful move for you, that you have a family behind you that's supportive and really can be on board with what you're trying to do. So as always, we ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't been a member, become a member. You can see these videos early. Buy us a coffee if you so desire. We've had some great feedback from folks who have been through the process and been able to get their residency, and have reached out and said, hey, just watching you guys is kind of giving us that support, that clear picture that we needed to actually make that move and make it happen and come down. So we're so glad that folks are able to kind of make the moves that they're trying to make, and we're actually able to help them do that. So as always, Cuídate, Arias Garce, take care and take a chance, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace, y'all.